the entire wrestling world felt a shift when quiet whispers turned into loud speculation. Randy Orton might finally be on his way back. For months, fans held on to every rumor, every vague post, every maybe dropped by insiders. But suddenly, everything changed. The first real confirmation didn't come from WWE, or from an interview, or even from Randy himself. It came from a small detail that hardcore fans noticed before anyone else: his name quietly appearing on the promotional material for an upcoming SmackDown in Austin, Texas. No big announcement, no dramatic tease, just his face, his name, and the unmistakable message tucked between the lines. He's coming back. This wasn't a random appearance tossed out for hype. The date lined up too perfectly, falling right after Survivor Series, right after the chaos of War Games, right when WWE would need to rebuild momentum. Fans wondered if this meant vignettes were coming, slow-burning promos, or maybe even a shock return with zero warning. And when people close to the situation were asked whether he was truly ready, the answer was simple and almost eerie: he's good to go. After nearly 2 years of uncertainty, of doctors saying his future was at risk, the Viper waiting in the grass suddenly didn't feel like a fantasy. It felt like a countdown. And the closer his return got, the clearer it became that WWE needed him now more than ever. But that wasn't the only unexpected return shaking up the conversation. While everyone was busy debating Randy's comeback, something completely different caught fans off guard. Zack Ryder, the same man who reinvented himself on the independent scene, built a new identity as Matt Cardona, and refused to fade away after WWE cut him loose, walked into SmackDown and lit the internet on fire. No warning, no leaks. Just a shock appearance that hit millions of fans right in the nostalgia. But the bigger twist came hours later. Despite his appearance, despite the huge reaction, and despite his merch suddenly popping up in WWE's system again, he wasn't signed. Not yet. People close to WWE confirmed his return was a one-off, at least for now, but they didn't close the door. Not even close. Having new merchandise isn't something WWE does casually. It's usually a hint, a soft signal, a quiet way of saying, "We're watching you." Fans immediately began arguing over why he returned as Zack Ryder instead of the Cardona persona he built from scratch. And the answer was exactly what longtime viewers expected. WWE owns Zack Ryder. They don't own Matt Cardona. And if they're going to bring him back, even temporarily, they're going to use the name that's theirs. Still, the moment worked. Fans loved it. Old memories resurfaced. And suddenly, Zack Ryder's status became one of the most talked about stories of the week. But while his cameo had everyone buzzing, something happening in NXT signaled an entirely different kind of mystery. NXT is usually where new faces show up. Hungry talent, looking for opportunity. But this time, someone returning caught everyone's attention. Tony D'Angelo, the Don of NXT, the man who built an entire character around controlling the brand like a family empire, was spotted backstage for the first time in months. No segment, no promo, no match. Just him in the building again, after disappearing without explanation. His absence sparked every kind of speculation, from injury to creative issues to a full character reset. But seeing him quietly pop up backstage felt like the first piece of a puzzle falling into place. The truth was still hidden. His future wasn't clear, but his presence alone was a major hint. Something is happening with Tony D, and WWE clearly wants eyes on him again. Fans started wondering whether his character had any place on the main roster, where gimmicks live or die fast. Some believed the Mafia-style persona might be too niche. Others argued he was one of the most entertaining characters NXT had built and deserved a real shot. But the only thing anyone could say with confidence was that his sudden reappearance meant a move was coming. Maybe a return storyline, maybe a faction reset, or maybe something bigger. But the next story made fans rethink the entire Bloodline saga. For years, people asked the same question: would a woman ever join the Bloodline? The group had everything: dominance, drama, betrayal, power, but never a female presence. It became one of the most requested additions, especially from fans who wanted a fresh dynamic in the storyline. And then Nia Jax finally broke the silence. When asked about joining the Bloodline, she didn't dodge the question or laugh it off. Instead, she confirmed it openly. Yes, the idea has been discussed. Not once, not casually, but seriously enough that she knew the only thing stopping it was timing. Fans immediately imagine the possibilities: Nia standing beside Solo Sikoa as the group rebuilds, Nia confronting Rhea Ripley while representing the family legacy, Nia adding an unpredictable, destructive power to a faction undergoing a complete identity shift. But she also made something clear: the Bloodline isn't dead. It's changing. They're using a different name now, shifting the group's direction. But the story is still alive. Adding someone like Nia could reshape the entire faction. But just when fans began getting excited, she added one cryptic detail: the answer is never a no. It was a simple sentence, but the kind that makes fans lean in and wonder what conversations are happening behind the scenes that nobody knows about yet. And while fans debated whether she should join or if the Bloodline story had already run its course, another situation was unfolding backstage, this time involving someone who wasn't just drawing heat from the audience, but from the locker room itself. Dominic Mysterio has quietly become one of the most effective heels in wrestling. Not the loudest, not the flashiest, but the most naturally hated. His transformation from Rhee's quiet son to one of the most despised characters in the company feels almost unbelievable. But his commitment to the role goes beyond TV. He does things during matches, commercial breaks, and backstage segments that annoy even the roster. During an interview, he admitted he had been pulled aside and talked to multiple times. One moment involved him appearing to spit at Dragon Lee, something fans immediately interpreted as crossing the line. Dom explained it wasn't spit, but gum, yet the backlash was real. Another time he did a snot rocket in the corner during a commercial break, and that earned him another warning. He wasn't trying to cause issues, he was just playing the role to the fullest. But sometimes that blurred the line between character and real irritation. Even so, fans and insiders alike admit one thing: Dominic is effective because he gets under your skin without even trying. Some consider him the top heel in wrestling right now, standing shoulder to shoulder with names like MJF, and whether people love him or hate him, he does something rare: he makes the audience react. But his ability to generate that much disdain raises a question nobody wants to answer. How far is too far? And what happens if he pushes things one step further? That question didn't have time to settle before another major shift hit the wrestling world, this time outside WWE. A company constantly fighting for stability and recognition suddenly found itself in the middle of a massive potential change. For years, they've been stuck on smaller networks, struggling to expand their audience. But a new report dropped that changed everything instantly. AMC has emerged as a real candidate to host TNA's weekly programming. Yes, AMC, the same network behind some of the biggest shows in TV history, the same place that delivered Breaking Bad, The Walking Dead, Better Call Saul, and series that changed the entire TV landscape. Moving to a channel like that wouldn't just help TNA, it would transform them. Bigger platform, mainstream exposure, millions of new eyes. This wasn't a rumor tossed around on social media. It came from a legitimate source, and insiders confirmed talks are happening. For a company looking for stability, for relevance, and most importantly, for growth, this could be the opportunity they've been waiting for, and the timing couldn't be better. Their roster is stacked. Their talent is stronger than it has been in years. Their shows are improving. They just needed a bigger stage. But the part that fans can't stop talking about is what this move would do to the wrestling landscape as a whole. For years, WWE and AEW have dominated the conversation. But if TNA suddenly lands on a major cable network with millions of viewers, the entire balance shifts. New rivalries could form. More wrestlers might jump ship. AEW could face new competition without even expecting it. And fans would suddenly have a third major option worth watching weekly. With so many moving pieces: Randy's return, Ryder's uncertain comeback, Tony D'Angelo's quiet reappearance, Nia Jax teasing a Bloodline connection, Dominic facing real heat backstage, and TNA negotiating a game-changing TV deal, wrestling feels more unpredictable than it has in years. And the wildest part, all of these stories are still developing. None of them are finished. Every single one is building towards something bigger. Because if there's one thing every wrestling fan knows, moments like these are never random. They're warnings. They're clues. They're the calm before something major hits the industry and flips everything upside down. And what's coming next might shock everyone watching.